Anjana-shalakaya chakshur-unmilitam yena tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Mano Abhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dīnabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So, before I begin, I'd like to beg to all the Vaishnavas your mercy and blessings so as right words should come at the right time with the right intent and the right mood. Swancha kalpatarubhishta kripa sindhubhyo cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namaha. So today we are going to dive into the Bhagavatam Katha, which is the most relished Katha by the devotees as well as the non-devotees, which is most famously known as From Rags to Riches in the midst of non-devotees. But devotees see it in a very different way. So this is the Katha about the famous Sudāmā Brāhmaṇa. Before we start or dive into the Katha, we should look at what mood that brought this Katha onto the mouth of Sukadeva Goswami Maharaj. So the scene was as Parikshit Maharaj was relishing the Kathas of transcendental pastime of Lord Shri Krishna and Balaram from his lotus mouth of Sukadeva Goswami Maharaj. He was enjoying the transcendental pleasure. And as soon as he made this realization, he came up with some expression that he wanted to share with Sukadeva Goswami Maharaj. So he made some statement as he was experiencing a divine nectar, hearing the pastimes of Lord. And with that realization, he came up that he was able to relieve himself from the material distress or the precarious condition that he was into. So he came up to that conclusion that there is no intelligent person who can reject this process of Shravana, of the beautiful transcendental pastimes of Lord, which are transcendental pleasure-giving kathas. By hearing them again and again, one can always remain in the transcendental high forever. And this statement he was making to Shukadev Goswami Maharaj. Further, he spoke upon like how one can rectify all his senses to perfection when they are engaged in transcendental devotional service of Lord. One has to put all his senses. Even Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur mentioned that one has to engage their senses in coordination in the service of Krishna consciousness. So, upon listening of this transcendental realization of Parikshit Maharaj, Shukadev Goswami Maharaj felt a transcendental pleasure. He experienced a devotional ecstasy into him. And when his heart was filled with pleasure, upon hearing Parikshit Maharaj craving for more and more katha of Lord, this beautiful pastime of Sudāmā Brahman came from his lotus mouth. So, why did this katha only came? So, as we know that Shukadev Goswami Maharaj is himself a renunciate. He is a Vairagya Chudamani, right? And Sudāmā Brahman was also a Vairagya Chudamani. So, in a sense, they were similar to each other. So, he had a much respect for Sudāmā Brahman, for his transcendental loving service to the Lord and his transcendental position. So, this was a katha which came out of the pleasure by hearing the advanced knowledge of Parikshit Maharaj of Vaishnava's philosophy of engaging themselves in the transcendental loving service of Lord Sri Krishna. So let us dive into the katha of Sudāmā Brahman. This katha comes in the 10th canto of the 80th chapter. So let us see how does Shukadev Goswami Maharaj speak about Sudāmā Goswami, the Bala Sakha of Lord Sri Krishna, who shared the wonderful pastime in the school where Lord Sri Krishna went for studies. So, who was Sudāmā Goswami? What qualities did he have? So, when narrating about Sudāmā, Shukadev Maharaj never mentioned his name, just out of respect. He always called him as Krishna Sakha, Brāhmaṇa Dev. Such he denoted his name. So he was a perfect devotee, and the Bhagavatam mentions about the quality that he had was that he was Brahma Vittamaha. That means he was the most learned person in Vedas. He was elevated in the transcendental knowledge of Krishna consciousness. Then he was Virakta Indriya Artheshu, that is, he was detached from sense gratification as well as any material desire. He was Prashanta Atma. We have heard about Shanta Atma. Shanta Atma means a person who is peaceful. But Prashanta Atma, what do you mean by Prashanta Atma? A Prashanta Atma is a person who is peaceful even in very precarious or adverse condition. As we all know, like what Sudāmā Brahman was, his status was, what material status or what material position he had. So even under that condition, he was always very peaceful and very blissful in remembrance of Lord. And he also was a Jitendriya, like his senses were under supreme control. He was able to conquer the senses or subdue his senses. Thus, he was a very pure devotee, always engaged in serving Lord. As Lord says in the Bhagavad Gita, 10th chapter, 9th shloka, as Mat chitta madgatha prana bodhayante parasparam katashayantescha mam nityam tushyanti cha ramati cha. Like a person who is always engaged in remembering me, in rendering service to me, is always prashanta. So that is the reason why he was a pure devotee. He was a perfect devotee with perfect knowledge. So the Sudāmā Brahman was in a Grihastha ashram. So what is Grihastha ashram? We day before yesterday we had a wonderful katha by Chitre Prabhu, a very nice understanding about how a Grihastha should be and what a Grahamedi is. So he was a very nice householder, but being though a householder, he was never engaged in accumulation of any wealth for comfortable living. So he was never engaged in accumulating any wealth, any extra wealth which was not required or which was not coming on its own accord. So he was always engaged into the loving devotional service of Lord and only maintaining himself on the wealth which would come on its own account or on its own destiny towards him. He was satisfied with whatever come in its own account to him. He always knew, because he was in perfect knowledge, he was a pure devotee, he always knew that one cannot be happier than he is destined to be, or one cannot increase or decrease the happiness in this material world. So having this transcendental knowledge, he was a perfect devotee and he did not engage himself unrequired of any material acquisitions. So due to this, the status or the position of Sudāmā was very precarious. He was very poverty stricken, very poor. Externally, he appeared a very scantily thin person whose bones were very easily seen, because most of the days he used to go without having food. He barely maintained himself. Both he and his wife were not with very rich clothes. They barely had something to cover themselves. And whatever they had, that was also worn out. But even being such a condition, his luster was very shiny, as he was always in blissful remembrance of Lord. And it is said that the sun god would always be present during the daytime in the house, so as to that many holes he had on the roof of his house that he was not able to maintain. So this was the condition of Sudāmā. His wife also was not very uh, of the desire to acquire the material opulences for herself. She was also in accordance with the nature of Sudāmā. She was very skinny. She was very weak, as they were going without food many days. So they appeared very thin, very weak, very old also because of this malnutrition. So his wife was a very chaste woman who was very obedient, who was of good character. So we in Sanskrit we say as a good character is Sushila. So many a times, many acharya, even though in Bhagavatam it is not mentioned, her name is not mentioned, they call her Sushila. So when she saw that she was not able to render service to her husband, like for a woman, it is very enlightening when they serve to their husband, to their children, with feeding them proper food and seeing them healthy. It is very enlightening, fulfilling, and very happy. That brings happiness in them. So she was bereft of this pleasure that she was not able to feed her husband or her children. So out of that anxiety, one day she was very concerned about the well-being of her husband. So she came up with this request, because she knew Sudāmā would never agree to take benefit from anyone or beg or do madhukari, because he always believed in something which come of its own accord. So she requested him, I have heard so many times that you have mentioned that the husband of the goddess of fortune is your dear and personal friend. So why don't you approach him and request him to give us something which would at least maintain or suffice our basic necessity. So at first, Sudāmā was very reluctant of this idea, as he was very self-sufficed in his principles. So he thought it is not better to go to Lord and to ask for material benefits. So he was very reluctant in the beginning. But upon persistently requested by his wife, he thought, he, see, this must be the Lord's plan to see me, because Sudāmā never wanted to even desire to fulfill a desire that he wanted to see Lord. That was his renunciate state. He wanted always to give pleasure to the Lord's desire, to the Lord's pleasure. So he thought that this must be the Lord's planning. So I must go and see Lord. And I will not ask for the material benefit, but I'll have the audience of Lord. That itself is so opulent. So he decided finally to go and meet Lord. But then he requested his wife, Kalyani, to meet Lord, to go to my friend. I must have something as a gift to him. So upon listening to this, that he's ready to go, she immediately begged some chipped rice among the neighbor around her house. So by begging from them, she was able to collect 4 fistful of chipped rice. So different colored chipped rice she got, and she somehow managed to bundle it up in a torn cloth. She knotted it very nicely, and she gave it to her husband. So upon receiving such gift, he started to Dvārakā. Now there is a very important lesson that we can learn from this. A person who has not eaten a morsel of grain from days, not just him, his wife and his children, is so excited to give gift for the Lord. So this was the state of the mind of Sudāmā Brahman. So as soon as he got this rice, he immediately started to Dvārakā. Now, being so weak and being so thin, he had to walk with the help of a stick. So he somehow managed to start the journey towards Dvārakā. Now, Lord, he's a Paramatma. He's Hanumanta. He can see, and when the Lord came to know that he has started for Dvārakā. So when he saw, my dear friend, my Balasaka, is started to come towards me. He saw that, but he is very thin. He's very weak. It is very difficult for him to walk. And as per the Loka Katha, in Bhagavatam it is not mentioned, but in the Loka Katha that it is said, Sudāmā was a very deeply involved in the thoughts of Lord Krishna every time. So while he was doing this journey, whenever he got a chance, he met some Kirtaniyas, he used to tag along with them and he used to do Kirtan along with them, and he used to get diverted to somewhere else. Rather than going towards Dvārakā, he used to go somewhere else. So Lord was very anxious and he was in anxiety. Like, first of all, he is such a weak person. And if he keeps on diverting in such a way, then how will he come to me? So Lord always saw to it that whenever it was night, he was sleeping. With the Yog Maya, he made it a point that he picked him up from there and put him back on the track to Dvārakā. So here, as Lord is Bhakta Vatsala, he always see to it that his Bhakta, his pure devotees, are never bereft or never diverted out of the way. In similar way, we see in our life also, in the life of a Bhakta, in the life of devotees, Lord is always concerned about the progress of a devotee. Whenever a devotee is diverted, he makes sure that there is a proper arrangement for him to get back to the track. So Lord is always a Bhakta Vatsal. So upon seeing this many a times that Lord had to bring him again and again back on the track to Dvārakā, Lord finally got him to the nearest point to the Dvārakā, whereupon he gets up and he can see the Dvārakā Nagari. So the day when Sudāmā next morning got up and he saw, oh, Dvārakā, such a nice place. When upon seeing the gates of Dvārakā, he was in a transcendental pleasure, because he had never seen something like this. like Dvārakā, wherever the Lord is, where the Mother Lakshmi is, that place itself is Vaikuntha. So such was the beautiful appearance of Dvārakā. So when he went there, he saw the gates of Dvārakā. He immediately paid his obeisances. He immediately paid Dandavat, and he started to move inside. But there was a thought in him, he, will they allow me to go inside? So, but as a Lok Katha, there is a saying, he was not allowed to go inside. But in Bhagavatam it is said, Lord has uh, given this message to each and every one of in the Dvārakā that Brāhmaṇa should not be stopped from entering at any place in Dvārakā. So with this, like the explanation given in Bhagavatam or in the Kṛṣṇa book, this Sudāmā Brahman along with other Brahmanas was very easily able to enter the Dvārakā. There were three gates he first passed, the gates of the gatekeepers, the guards, and then the gates of the relatives like Bhoja, Vrishni, and Andhakas, their resident places. So nobody was so easily able to enter at this place because this was the place of King, the, the Lord of all three worlds. So there was a very heavy security. So it was not easy to enter such place. But being a Brahmana, he was very easily able to enter. So when he came to the innermost part of the Dvāraka city, he saw there were thousands and thousands of planets, 16,108 8 palaces of Lord Shri Krishna. So he entered into the most gloriously decorated palace, and that happened to be the palace of Mother Lakshmi and Lord Shri Krishna. So, as per the Loka Katha, it is said he when seeing that, because never had the Dwarka people seen such a uh, very poor Brahmana. They never came upon such a sight of a Brahmana who was so poor, who was so weak, who was so malnourished, who was very difficult for him to walk. So when he came at the palace of Lakshmi Mata, so the gatekeepers, they very respectfully inquired about him. Hey Brahman Dev, who are you and where are you supposed to go and whom are you supposed to meet? So upon inquiring about him, Sudāmā told him that I am Lord Shri Krishna's Bal Sakha and I want to meet him, and that is the only purpose I have come here. So he requested him to wait for a minute so that he can go inside and inform Lord Shri Krishna about him. This is the Lok Katha. So when that gatekeeper went inside to inform Lord, he described the external appearance of Sudāmā. He said, there is a person waiting for you, Lord, who appears to be a mendicant, who appears to be a beggar, but he is a Brahmana, but he is having a very worn out dhoti. That is the only piece of cloth that he is having. He is not having any chappals. He is holding a stick. He is barely able to walk. This is the Lok Katha. And in Bhagavatam, it is said, he, Sudāmā was not at all stopped from entering the palace. He was, as soon as he entered the palace, it is said, the Lord Shri Krishna was sitting on the bed with Mother Lakshmi. And he was very anxious to know that what is the progress of my dear friend, where has he reached up to. So in that mood, he was having a conversation with Mother Lakshmi. And from his room, from his palace window, he was able to see at a far distance his dear friend, his Bal Sakha, Sudāmā. And as soon as he saw Sudāmā, he started running. Mother Lakshmi could not analyze what is going on. He swiftly just moved out of the bed and he started running towards Sudāmā. Such was his pace that his uttariya fell down. His footwear gave up. That speed, like a hurricane, he was moving to meet his dear friend Sudāmā. He jumped, he skipped so many steps. He moved away the curtains which the people, the servants were supposed to move. But before they were able to move, Lord himself moved those curtains and he swiftly moved like a wind towards the Sudāmā Brahman. With both of his hands, eager to meet and hugged Sudāmā. And upon seeing, Sudāmā was astounded. Upon seeing the most beloved friend, upon seeing the most transcendental form of Lord, he was awestruck. He was not able to move. His stick fell off. He's seeing the most merciful tsunami coming towards him. And he just was awestruck. He was just there in astonishment. And as soon as Lord came near him, Lord hugged him. And as soon as they hugged each other, there was emotional burst. Both of their hearts, their voice choked. They were not able to speak. Tears, rivers of tears rolling from Lord Sri Krishna, Sudāmā Brāhmaṇa. Because here was his Bal Sakha. After so long time, they were meeting each other. So Lord has hugged him so nicely that the servants in the palace, they were astounded. They were awestruck. They have never seen this roop of, or never seen this avatar of Dvārakādesh. They have never seen him without a uttariya. They have never seen him without a footwear. They have never seen him without his helmet. And they could not understand the scene which is there, the scene which they are seeing. They are seeing that their king is embracing a person who is such a poor, like if one see him externally at once, immediately we think that he is some beggar. The description given in the Bhagavatam is that he externally, Sudāmā appeared as a beggar. His dhoti was worn out as transparent, see-through. That's how he was wearing a dhoti which was used so much. He was standing with the support of a stick. His body was very thin, so thin that his bones were able to see. His veins were able to see. His body was very dirty. But still, they were not able to understand who is this person, what piety this person has done, that the Lord of the three worlds is hugging him so dearly that he has never hugged anyone else other than Balrama or Mother Rukmani herself. So they were astounded, they were spellbound, they could not speak anything, as if everything was standstill. And Lord and Sudāmā were embraced in each other. And it took some time for them to leave each other. And Lord, with very loving and caring way, hold Sudāmā's hand, and he took him to the integral part of the palace. Very carefully he was taking him inside, because Sudāmā was very weak, he was very thin. So in fact, Lord was supporting him, and he took him and he made him sit on the personal bed of Lord Sri Krishna, where the fortune goddess sleeps herself. So upon seeing this, everyone was astounded. They had never seen such a thing. Rather, they have never seen. They have seen Lord rendering service to the Brahmanas, but never seen such a Brahmana who was in such a precarious condition. So they were all very astounded. They were all very bewildered. So Lord was full of emotions. He immediately ordered Mother Lakshmi to bring a bowl and water filled pot to do the Abhishek, Charana Abhishek of Sudāmā. So when Mother Lakshmi bought that bowl, so Lord kept that bowl under the feet of the Sudāmā. And he personally, in his lotus hands, he holded the feet of Sudāmā Brahman. And when he holded the feet of Sudāmā Brahman, he was filled with pain upon seeing the condition of the feet of Sudāmā Brahman. It was pierced with thorns, and there were ridges on the feet of Sudāmā Brahman. Lord was in deep pain upon seeing this, and internally was thinking, what has kept you so much long to come to me? Why have you not come earlier? The similar condition, if we think, is of all the jivas. Lord thinks that what is keeping all my dear jivas from meeting to me? They are being thrashed by Maya each and every time, but still they are not turning, they are not coming up to me. So this emotional outburst is going in Lord Sri Krishna's mind, and with that, there are tears flowing from his eyes. Such was the condition that before pouring the water on the feet of Sudāmā, Lord washed his feet with his tears. And he personally removed all the thorns from his leg. And then he cleaned his feet with his own uttariya. Then Lord did all the upcharas that one has to do to celebrate a arrival of a Brāhmaṇa, because Lord was here playing a role of an ordinary man. So as soon as Lord was finished with the Charna Abhishek, he sprinkled some water on his head. Now Lord is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He does not need to do that. But he is showing here how one should respect a Brāhmana, how one should respect a pure devotee, and what benefit that one can achieve by sprinkling the Charana Amrit on his head. And after doing so, he went on to do other paraphernalias, like he did Abhishek of Sudāmā Goswami. He rendered service by applying sandalwood pulp and many other scented ointments on his body. He even did Arti of Sudāmā Goswami, Sudāmā Brahman. He did Arti also. So after doing all this, he made him sit on the bed and he personally sat beside him. And Mother Lakshmi and Satyabhama were by their side. Mother Lakshmi was fanning with wigtail and Mother Satyabhama was doing fanning with the peacock feathers. So in such condition, Lord, when all of those were bewildered, who is this person and why Lord is acting in such a way? Because they have never seen Lord acting in such a way to any other Brahmana, though he used to do all the upcharas for every Brahmana. But this was something else. This was something special. And upon looking on the external features of Sudāmā, they were not able to understand what is going on. So then Lord introduced him that he is my Balasaka Sudāmā. We both studied together in Gurukula. So after this, Lord doing all the upcharas, feeding him, giving him a nice drink, relaxing him, Lord sat beside him, holding his hand, and he started doing the Ishta Goshti. That what two friends, when two school friends sit together and do, they'll always chat about the beautiful school times they had, beautiful pastimes they had in the school, or beautiful naughty mischievous things that they had done in the school time. So Lord here in Bhagavatam has given many beautiful lessons. The first thing that Lord is speaking about here is the importance of the knowledge acquired during the school time when a person is in the Brahmacharya ashram. Lord said that knowledge acquired at this time is very important. It helps one to, it benefits one in his lifetime. Then Lord is speaking about different level of Guru. Like Lord is speaking about the first Guru, that is one's father, who has given the body to the child. So that is the first Guru Lord speak about. The second Guru is the Shiksha Guru and the Diksha Guru. And Lord says they are both the same. They are not different than me. And he speaks about the importance about following the Shiksha Guru's order. Then Lord speaks about the importance of Varnashram. One has to divide his life in the 4 parts, like Brahmacharya Ashram, then Grihastha Ashram, then Vanaprastha, and then Sannyas. He's speaking about this. Then one who follows the orders of Guru is very, very dear to me. So these are the lessons that Lord is giving through this pastime. And then Lord, after narrating all this pastime, after speaking about all this guidance, Lord very nicely reminded Sudāmā, my dear Sudāmā, do you remember that night that we had gone to do service for the Guru Maharaj, when Guru Mata had requested us to collect the firewood from the forest? And Sudāmā said, yes, I remember very nicely those. Then Lord narrated that pastime to him. How, upon the request of Guru Mata, they had gone in the forest to collect the firewood. And as they were collecting the firewood, all of a sudden there was a change in the atmosphere. All of a sudden there was storm, there was gusty wind blowing, and there was rainfall. And never have they seen such a rainfall, so as so that they were fearful, and they holded each other's hand very dearly to them, and protecting each other, they moved into the protection of a tree. It is described that such a devastating rainfall was that they thought that is it a pralay? So they had no clue, or the forest markings were all went underwater. So they were all bewildered which way to go towards the Gurukul. So upon this condition, they remained under a tree, each one of them under one tree. So they were nearby. But when this condition was there, Sudāmā was greatly feared. And before going to the forest, the Guru Mata had given some chana to Sudāmā for them to have in the forest. She had given 2 packets, each one of them. So, but out of fear and hunger, Sudāmā alone ate all of them. And he absolutely forgotten about giving it to Lord or sharing it with the Lord. So here is according to the Lokatha, it is said, one who does not give anything in offering to the Lord, or one who robs the share of the Lord, is always destined to be poor, or always destined for severe punishment. As it is said in 3.13, Yadna Shishta Ashniha Santo Mujjayate Sarvakilbishe Bunjate Te Tvam Agam Papa Ye Pachayanti Atma Karanat. One who eats without offering to Lord is eating only sin. So this, according to this Lokakatha, it was this was the reason Sudāmā was poverty stricken. So they both spent the night under the tree, and as the morning appeared the next day, the Sandipani Guru came to know about the situation, and he immediately moved towards the jungle in search of Lord and Sudāmā. So as soon as he got near to them, he hugged them and he praised them. He praised their dedication and the intensity of service. He was so pleased that he blessed them. You have rendered such a service to me. You have not even considered your body in the line of service to your Guru Maharaj. And out of that love and pleasure that they had given to their Guru Maharaj, the Guru Maharaj blessed them. Whatever education that you receive from this ashram, it will remain eternally with you. And whenever it is required, you will remember it as it is, and you will be able to quote it whenever you want it. For this life and the next life, you will always be happy. So this was the blessings from the Guru Maharaj from his heart. So we come to know whenever we render such a service to our Guru Maharaj, we are blessed with the blessing that we are able to cross this material world very easily. So this katha, as soon as they discussed this katha, Lord was trying to pursue him. You must have, after this ashram, after taking the education from ashram, you must have accepted grihastha ashram. You must have married, and so there must be my sister-in-law. So you have the sister. I have a sister-in-law so much. So the sister-in-law must have sent me something very nice. So you must have brought some gift for me. So upon hearing this, Sudāmā, who was very dearly holding that 4 fistful of rice in his armpit, because upon seeing the beautiful opulence of Lord, he was very embarrassed to offer that gift to Lord. He was thinking, this is an absolutely insignificant gift for the Lord. It is not proper gift. So he was very dearly holding on to that thing. So, but Lord tried to persuade him to give him that, make him say, yes, I have bought some gift for you. But he was not agreeing to that. So Lord, in a way, he said that whatever one offers with offers to me with love, that is in the 9th chapter 26 shloka, Lord says, Patram pushpam phalam toyam yo me bhaktaya prayachati tad aham bhakti uparitam ashnami prayatat amaha. That one whosoever offers me with love and devotion, Patram pushpam phalam, I accept that. So Lord is trying to uh, allure him that he should give him that whatever he has got for him. So, but Sudāmā was not agreeing to give it. He was not. He was hiding it. So Lord, with force, he just snatched that fist, that rice totally from Sudāmā Goswami, and he such a way that he snatched it as if it was some treasure, and with great intensity and with great eagerness, he opened it. And as soon as he opened it, he saw that there were 4 different colors of rice in there, as it was been begged from 5 different houses. So it had different shape and sizes. So when he saw those rice, he was in intense pleasure and ecstasy, because he knew about the condition of Sudāmā, that he was starving for days. His children are starving for days. His wife is starving for days. But still, out of love for me, out of devotional service for me, out of transcendental love for me, he has brought this as a gift for me. Though externally it appeared so soggy that it was not consumable, Lord very happily took one fistful, and he made a sankalpa that because of your dear loving service to me, I promise you to give the opulence of all the 3 worlds. So he made a sankalpa, and when first feast he took inside, he gave him the opulence of the best opulence, or the opulence that no one on this material world could have. That opulence he gifted when he ate the first fistful of the rice. And when he ate that fistful of rice, he was in such an intense ecstasy that he had never experienced other than Vrindavan, when Mother Yashoda fed him, when the dear gopis fed him. That was the pleasure that he was feeling when he was having that feast full of rice. Even in so many examples, we have seen this. Lord, when Shabri Mata was feeding Lord Ram, first she was eating and then she was feeding Ram. Even during the meeting that Lord had with Vidura's wife at Vidura's house, out of that devotional love for the Lord, out of that ecstasy, she was feeding him the banana peels instead of banana fruit, and Lord was accepting it with full of love. And when Vidura came and he noticed this, and he made her realize that what she was doing, she immediately switched and she offered the banana fruit. Then Lord said, the intensity of the love which was with you were giving that peel, that is not there with this fruit. Even during Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when his most beloved disciple Raghunath Das Goswami, such a Vairagya Chudamani, that he was eating the peja, that is rice peja from which is thrown away in the gutter, which is not being eaten by animals also. He used to pick up that, he used to wash that, and he used to have that inside part of that rice. And once Chaitanya Mahaprabhu hold his hand and he said, what nectar are you having alone? Even I'll have to have. So many a times we see Lord doing such pastimes. Externally, it may appear us how disgustful things these are. Why is Lord having these things? But then internally we can understand the Lord is not having that just that the rice or that peel of the banana. He's having the bhav of that devotee. As we all know, Lord is bhavagrahi. So he is having that bhav, that love of that devotee through that material rice or the banana peel. So upon seeing this, Mother Lakshmi, when Lord started to have this next feastful of the rice, immediately, very swiftly, Mother Lakshmi stopped him from having that. Now there is 2 kathas in this. Like there is a lok katha also involved. Like, why did Mother Lakshmi stop him from having that second fistful of rice? So, according to the Lokatha, it is said, Mother Lakshmi, she said to Lord, Lord, if you give him the other world opulence, then we will have to go and serve at his place. He has had enough that one man could have in this material world, more than one could have in this material world. So it is better that you do not eat the second feast. Let us have this. And the Bhagavad understanding is as such कि when Mother Lakshmi saw that Lord is relishing such a beautiful prasadam, they too wanted to have that. So she stopped him from having that, and she said that we also want to have this Maha Prasad. And then they snatched it from Lord and they distributed among themselves. So after having this beautiful pastime, Lord started to talk about different pastimes they had in the Gurukul. And then the Sudāmā Brahman, he spent the night at the Lord's palace. He slept on the bed where Lord and Mother Lakshmi used to sleep. So Lord made him sleep on that bed. And the next day morning, he requested Lord with great difficulty, he would like to take leave. Then Lord, with great difficulty, allowed him to leave. So while coming back, Sudāmā was engrossed in the thought of how beautifully Lord has served him. How beautiful. He had no eligibility. The way Lord has received him, the way Lord has showered mercy on him, the way Lord has showered love on him. Because in material world, it is not possible to have such a beautiful friendship other than Lord himself. We have many examples like Dronacharya and Drupad Maharaj. The same case, Dronacharya was Brahmin, Drupad Maharaj was a king, but their friendship out of the Gurukul went sour. And we all know what result it came up to. Even the friendship between the Pandavas and Kauravas, they studied in the same Gurukul, but that did not flourish outside the Gurukula. So it is very difficult to have a real friend in this material world other than the Lord himself. As in the morning lecture, we have very nicely and beautifully heard this friendship relationship in this material world. It is very difficult to find. Nobody in this material world can be a friend without an ulterior motive. So Sudāmā was relishing and he was mesmerized by the thought of how Lord had received him. How Mother Lakshmi, when he was tired, was fanning him with the yak tail. How Lord was pressing his legs, making him feel good. He was absolutely at no position for receiving such a seva from Lord himself. Because Lord, we all know Lord is Go Brahmanitaya Sir. Like he's the protector of the Brahman, he's the protector of the cows, he's the pleasure giving for the Brahmana, he's the Devata of Brahmanas. So he considered Brahmins very dear to him, very near to him. So he was thinking and relishing this beautiful experience that he had during the association of Lord. And then he thought, it is good that Lord did not give me anything. Because the motive of Sudāmā Brahman, though, was that to meet Lord, but being Lord, he knew everything why Sudāmā has come over there. But still, Lord did not give him anything. So, upon thinking on that thought, Sudāmā was thinking, Lord is so merciful on me. He's just like a father who stops his child from having, for example, a thing which is not suitable for him, or which will destroy him, or which will take him away from him. So like father, he stops his child from having not consumable thing or not things which are good for him. In the similar way, Lord Sri Krishna has not given me the opulence, has not given me the riches, because he is thinking maybe maybe I'll fall down and maybe I'll go away from him. So he's just like a father to me. He's just taken care of me. He's so protective for me. He's considering me so near to him that he is protective about me. and he's feeling the gratitude towards Lord. Gratitude for not giving him the opulences, not giving him the riches, which is very different process of thinking, which we cannot just think about it like someone who is thanking the Lord for not giving him the things that he wanted, or rather his wife wanted. So he was thanking the Lord, and as soon as he came near to his residence, he was bewildered and astonished to see there were huge palaces over there. A beautiful city was there. At first, he thought, have I come to the right place, or what happened to my hut? Where has my family gone? And it's a very beautiful description given in Bhagavatam Katha, how opulent that city was. The city was bedecked with jewels, marbles, gold, silver, and many expensive gems. It was all decorated in that way. There were many gardens, there were many lakes. The people over there who were residing, they were appearing as the demigods. There were many exotic birds, beautiful trees, beautiful parks. So he was astounded. He was bewildered that where am I? Is this the place where I used to live? And as soon as the people saw him, they immediately started welcoming him. And as soon as they started welcoming him, then from a palace, there was a lady who was coming near him, who was running towards him. And behind her, there were several maid servants who were running along with that lady. At the first appearance, he thought that, oh, is this a, a demigoddess? Is this some Apsara? Is this some the Devi? She was appearing as the goddess of fortune herself. And when she came near to him, he was not able to recognize her. And she said, I am your wife, Sushila. And he was astonished. He was not able to recognize with her all opulence, all the great silken dress, the jewelry bedecked, and beautiful appearance that she was having now. And he was absolutely bewildered how this thing has happened. And then she welcomed him. She took him to the palace, inside the palace. And then when he saw inside the palace, it is very beautiful description of the interior, how the interiors were decorated. Not even the king of the heavens had that opulence that he was having. So not even the king Indra was having such an opulence that Sudāmā was having at this point of time. So he was thinking, what I have been poor all my lifetime. What has this opulence been gifted to me? So upon thinking, he remembered about Lord, that no one else other than my dear Bal Sakha, Lord Shri Krishna, he has glanced the merciful glance upon me. And he was so thankful. He thought, he even after not asking for it, he has gifted me such a big opulence to me. In such a state he was, in such a gratitude he was about Lord. He was thanking him again and again. But as per the Lokatha, it is also said that why did Lord gift him such an opulence, which is considered as a stool in the circle of devotees? Why did Lord give him this? But it is said, as per the Lokatha, it is said that Sudāmā, in his mind, he had a little bit of ahankar. The ahankar of being able to sustain himself in peace, even though he had no material opulences. He had that tinge of ahankar in him. So Lord, who is the Bhaktavatsala, he can never tolerate even a small tinge of ahankar in his devotee. So to break that ahankar, Lord has gifted him such a big opulence. And then the Sudāmā, after accepting it as the prasad of Lord, he enjoyed that opulence. But he was always in the same state as he was before. Like when he was poor, he had no attachment to the material desire or material longings. The similar way, he lived the life of opulence also. He always had the connection with Lord. He always was in the remembrance of Lord, and he always used that opulence in the service of the Lord. He was never attached to that opulence. And such was the level of devotion in his life that he continued enjoying that opulence, and he went back to Godhead. So when we come to know about this katha, we learn so many things, so many beautiful, important things that we can learn through this katha. So what are the things, or what are the lessons that one can learn from this beautiful katha, the beautiful pastimes of Sudāmā Goswami? The first thing that one can learn about is about the Grahastha ashram. We had a very beautiful lecture on Grahastha ashram from Chitre Prabhu. Like Grahastha ashram and the difference between Grahastha ashram and a Grihamardi. Now, when we say Grahastha ashram, what we think about an ashram? Ashram is a place where the center of attraction is Lord. There is a temple over there. There is a cooking place where the prasadam is cooked, where the bhoga is cooked for the Lord, and which being after offered to Lord is prasadam and is shared among the devotees. And there is always a service for the pleasure of the Lord, like kirtan is going on, katha is going on, some other service is being rendered to the Lord in that ashram, and there is some staying places in that ashram. So, according to the Prabhupada, it's very beautiful. He has given us a very beautiful way of living in the Grahastha ashram. How should one live in a Grahastha life? Is that one should have a temple in the house. One should have food prepared for the pleasure of the Lord, and only taken or only eaten only after offering it to the Lord as a prasadam. Then one should have katha and kirtan in the house. One should lead his life for the sake of Lord, for the keeping Lord in the center. That is how one should live a grihastha life. That is how Sudāmā lived his grihastha life. He never endured or exerted himself to acquire any wealth which was not needed for him. Then he had a staunch Shraddha for Lord. The Shraddha, the intensity of Shraddha, differs the result. So one should have always a strong Shraddha on Lord. One should always be tolerant. Like he was a Prashanta Atma. Under any circumstances, he was peaceful. And then he was Anya Abhilashita Sunya, that he never had any desire from the desire to serve Lord. He never had any other desire other than serving to Lord. Then his foundations was very strong. Like he always had the thoughts of Lord. He always did kirtan, katha of Lord. So we should always learn from this. We should always involve ourselves. We should always engage ourselves in Shravan and Kirtan of the scriptures of Lord. Then the intensity of his surrender was absolute. He was absolutely surrendered to the Lord. Under no circumstances that could have been shaken. Then one needs to follow rules and regulations. As we may know that rules and regulations are not to create disturbances in our life, but they are to smoothen our lives. For example, if we think the signal, if there is no red signal, how it would create a chaos in the city for the traffic. So similarly, one should have rules and regulation in his life so that his spiritual life can progress and one can progress to achievement of the Lord, love of Lord, bhakti of Lord. Then rendering service to a guru or pleasing a guru, just as we saw how by the pastime of the stormy night where they had gone to collect the wood, they had pleased the Guru Maharaj, the Shandipani Muni, by putting their lives on the line for the Guru. And out of that pleasure, they were being blessed. So whenever when we put ourselves on the line of our Guru's intention, of our Guru's pleasure, we receive the blessing which progresses us in this spiritual life and take us back to Godhead without any impediments. One should always try to render service first to the Lord. Just as Sudāmā, when he was starving, when he did not have any morsel in his stomach, when he was not able to feed his child for days or his wife, but he was thinking first about the Lord, that what gift should I give to the Lord? So this is the attitude one should have. We should always consider anything which we have to offer it first to the Lord. Then one should be always in the mode of gratitude, Basically, gratitude is the foundation for the true bhakti. When one is full of gratitude toward the Lord's mercy on us, will always be having true bhakti. So we should always be grateful towards the gifts of Lord in whichever form they are, whether we are in adverse condition, or whether we are receiving something which we do not like, or whether we have something which we are liking. But we should always be grateful toward the Lord, because Lord has gifted us with so many things, and He never charges. He never claims that I had given it to you. Now, for a thought that my Shiksha Guru always gives this example, he when if at all Lord was supposed to put a meter on your nose that how much air you are taking, you have to be paying the bill. Or for the light, like the Reliance gives us the bill of the light. If Lord start giving the bill of the sunlight, then where would we land up? And so many other things that Lord has gifted us. And the best part is that He has gifted us this beautiful human body. This is the ticket that we can encash it to go back to Godhead. This is the chance that He has given us. This is the mercy that He has given us to render service and to engage us in the devotional service, to achieve the prema bhakti of the Lord, and to go back to Godhead. One should always think about gifting, or always think about giving service to the Lord to please Him, not to please ourselves, but to please the senses of the Lord. That is bhajatam priti purvakam. One should always think about rendering service to the Lord for His pleasure. And then Lord always, He is a Bhakta Vatsal. He always take into consideration when we are diverted out of the path of bhakti. He always makes it the point that we are taken aback. He sees to that we are brought back onto that path. And towards the end, I would like to uh, bring up an analogy, uh, like I inspired with yesterday by Prabhuji, how he very nicely compared the story of Sudāmā with Srila Prabhupada, the story of his story with Prabhupada's story. So I would like to present some analogy in the similar fashion, how Prabhupada, in the similar way, Lord had played the pastime with Prabhupada as well. Like Prabhupada, on the request of his Guru Maharaj, he also, with taking just 40 rupees, with his heart filled with the love of Lord and trunk filled with Srimad Bhagavatam, met the difficult journey on the Jaladuta, which was very difficult, which was held by Lord, and which was smoothened by Lord. And then he was made with the help of Lord to reach to the port of America, just as Sudāmā was helped by Lord. And then upon reaching at the destination, he was robbed at the first year. And then he was gifted with the devotees and the temples, like Sudāmā was gifted with the opulence. Srila Prabhupada was gifted with the temples and the devotees all throughout the world. So just as the material people may think that this opulence of Srila Prabhupada is in the form of the land and money and temples, but in the eyes of the devotees, these temples are not temples. These temples are the palaces of Lord. 16,108 palaces, still Vishwakarma is building them for us. Like in each and every palace, like Narad Muni, when he visited Dvārakā, he saw that Lord is in a different mood in each of those palaces. So in each of the palaces throughout the world, Lord is in different form. Somewhere is Radha Ras Bihari, somewhere is Radha Gopinath, somewhere is Radha Madan Mohan. So Lord is always waiting for us. Like we are also in the condition of a Sudāmā. Sudāmā was bereft of the poverty, a material poverty, and we are bereft of the spiritual. We are poor in the sense of the Krishna Bhavana Bhakti. We are poor in the devotional service. We are poor in the rendering service to the Lord. And just because we are so poor in this, we have become weak. Our consciousness has become weak. So we have to make the journey as Sudāmā has made the journey towards Dvārakā to receive that opulence of love. We have to make that journey to the temples of ISKCON to receive the love of Lord and to get us back on the spiritual advancement and spiritual progress towards getting back to Godhead. So with this, I put an end to my voice, and I would like to thank you for receiving me. Whatever was good was the blessing of my Guru Maharaj, His Holiness Gopal Krishna Maharaj, and my very dear Shiksha Guru, His Grace Rupavilas Prabhu, and whatever faults there, thank you so much. And I would like to open for questions now, if there are any questions.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Vaikunth Vihari Prabhu, very nicely
Yes,
you
Prabhuji.
summarized the analogy of Sudāmā with Prabhupada, that how Prabhupada received the opulence like Sudāmā received. Prabhupada didn't have any intention, he had only one intention, to serve the Lord.
Yes,
and you nicely explained the milana of Sudāmā with the Lord, that how skinny he was, how each and everything you were nicely explaining and how the Lord met him and how the Lord was running. That was very nicely explained. Thus you also nicely explained, the Lord eating, and how the Lord in the past also had done such activities of eating from the others, Vidura's wife.
It is all your mercy, Prabhu. It is all your teachings. It is all your mercy. It is all your teachings.
Very nicely explained, and very nicely shown that how nicely when he reached to his place in Porbandar again, he was astonished to see the beauty. He was really, not able to recognize where he is. And one important thing, just for the one person, the entire area got benefit.
Right, Prabhu.
So one devotee makes the entire area, the entire area gets the benefit from that.
Yes, benefited. Right.
That is the beauty of Srila Prabhupada's movement.
Yes.
That even in this lockdown, we are here and we are trying to enjoy the Katha Kirtan. And people are worried outside, but we are so much Katha Kirtan is going on. Huh?
Yes, Prabhu.
So very nicely explained. And as usual, Sudāmā's story is so touchy, always so touchy. And it touches the heart every time, the more we listen. And, the Shukadeva Goswami Maharaj, Vairagya Chudamani, he is speaking about another Vairagi. That is also very great, that there are only one or two incidents that he was feeling so grateful in speaking. And this was one of this time, Shukadeva Goswami Maharaj, when he was speaking about this thing.
Sudāmā.
So very nicely explained, Prabhuji. And lastly, you summarized the thing very nicely, giving all the tattvas. That these are the main tattvas which we should take and implement in the life, and we should progress in the life. Wonderful.
All your blessings, Prabhu. All your blessings. All is yours.
So anybody else has some comments? Any questions are there for the YouTube? Otherwise, we will wind it up and have a situation. Yes, Prabhu.
Amrit Jivan Prabhu.
Yes, Amrit Jivan Prabhu, please unmute yourself.
Yes. Prabhu, you will open for question answers now.
Yeah. One or two questions we'll take, and then we'll wind up the YouTube session.
Right.
हाँ बोलिए अमृत जीवन प्रभु.
हाँ, मेरा क्वेश्चन नहीं, मेरा कमेंट्स है कि प्रभु जी ने बहुत ही अच्छी तरह से एक्सप्लेन किया है. अभी उन्होंने गुरु तत्व को भी कवर किया, फिर बाद में शास्त्र को भी कवर किया, फिर मित्रता का एग्जाम्पल भी जो दिया है, ये सब कुछ मतलब बहुत ही अच्छी तरह से बताया. और इसका एक और थोड़ा सा कमेंट्स ऐसा था कि बाद में लक्ष्मी भगवान कृष्ण को पूछती है कि वो इतना दरिद्री क्यों हो गए ब्राह्मण होते हुए, आपके मित्र होते हुए भी. तो भगवान कृष्ण बोलते हैं कि जब ये संदीपानी मुनि, ये तो प्रभु जी ने बताया भी था कि ये जब लकड़ियां लाने के लिए जंगल जाते हैं और वो अपनी सीमा पार करते हैं, और गुरु माता ने उनको जो खाने के लिए जो देती है, वो ये एक झाड़ पे भगवान कृष्ण होते हैं और एक दूसरी झाड़ पे सुदामा होते हैं. और वो जैसे जैसे रात हो जाती है, फिर बारिश बहुत आते रहती है और वो वापस आश्रम भी जा नहीं पाते हैं और रात भर उधर ही रुकते हैं. और सुदामा चाहते हैं कि वो भगवान को भी थोड़ा सा दे, लेकिन जैसे ही वो देने के लिए नीचे झाड़ से उतर के दूसरे झाड़ पे जाके भगवान को देना चाहते हैं, तो उसी समय है ना बिजली कड़कती है, फिर शेर की आवाज आती है, तो वो डर के मारे फिर उसी झाड़ पे बैठते हैं। तो वो जो भगवान को एक रात्र भर उपवास ही रहना पड़ता है और उसके लिए कर्म का बंधन, इनके जीवन में वो दरिद्रता आती है। ऐसा ये राधा गोविंद महाराज की कथा में बताया गया था, वो उसका मैं जस्ट अपडेट कर रहा हूँ।
Thank you,
और
brother. Right,
अभी तक प्रभु जी ने जो दिया वो बहुत ही अप्रतिम, और उन्होंने सब कुछ कवर किया। थैंक्स, बहुत ही अच्छा लगा। और ये
Thank you,
पहली
bro.
बार जो
All glories
दिया
to
और
Shiksha Guru.
बहुत ही अच्छी तरह से बताया। थैंक यू, कीप इट अप, थैंक्स।
All glories to Vaishnavas, all glories to my Shiksha Guru Prabhu. He is the one who is
गुरु महाराज, गुरुदेव की भी
Guru
कृपा है
Maharaj.
और शिक्षा गुरु की भी कृपा है आपके ऊपर।
Yes,
वो विशेष
yes.
कृपा है, क्योंकि मैं देखता हूँ ना, और आपका हम्बलनेस भी बहुत ही अच्छी तरह से है। और डेफिनेटली आने वाले और क्लास में और प्रोग्रेस होगा। थैंक यू।
Thank you for your blessings, Prabhu. Thank you for your
So
blessing.
we can wind up the YouTube.
Yeah,
session.
Prabhuji, we can only have question answers now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ek minute.
Any questions are there?
Only questions. Okay. So
Okay, we'll wind up the YouTube session. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Srila Prabhupada ki